I always try to get my stuff ready to go quicker when we get here, because quite often something happens immediately when we get here. So they're pretty fond of sending a scout out to see us. We haven't seen them yet.
All right.
More often than not, they send them right out.
You think they do that on purpose?
I don't know. It could be that the dog barks and they just let him out. It could be that it's not on purpose. Well, they're decorating for Christmas, looks like. Putting out some, pots and...
Where's my scouts?
Well, we're basically the Scouts fan club, right? We all show up just here to see Scout, because the other ones never want to come out to see us. No, but the governor's dog comes out a lot. Most every week, actually. We haven't seen him today. You know what I have at home that I was tempted to bring, but I don't want to get in trouble?
What?
I have a really nice ham bone.
Oh, Scout would love that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice ham bone. But, I was supposed to... I haven't given that to Freddie or anybody yet, so... A ham bone, boy, I tell ya. Dogs like ham bones.
What you do is you stick that ham bone in an old tennis shoe
Yeah?
and then give it to the dog and let him pray.
Chew through the shoe?
Well, you stick the tennis shoe on the end of the ham bone. It looks like he's dragging.
Oh, yeah. Like he's got to scare all the neighbors.
One of these days, Wallace will actually come out here and talk with us.
Okay, how many interviews? I've interviewed every candidate for governor except for the one who lives here.
Yeah.
And
Just
all
saying.
the other ones I've had interviews with. All of them, right?
I'm just saying.
Even the hard to get one like Neil, Marty.
Marty, yeah.
Marty was one of them.
McFly.
People haven't seen Marty much, so Murphy is one of the other ones that you don't see a lot. But Murphy's done several interviews. Neil Shaw,
Out there more now.
Gazelka, all of them. Not this guy.
Question. So is Wallace running for our governor? Or
Yes, he's running. He announced.
Oh,
He
he
announced?
did?
He's announced he's running for governor.
So why was he at the Minnesota GOP candidacy for governor? Why wasn't he there?
He's
'Cause he's not a GOP.
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
Oh,
He just
He would be at the Democratic one.
Yeah.
we should go to that one.
Well, there's only one candidate.
Yeah, they're
not going to run anybody.
They don't have anybody running against him.
Oh, you don't?
He's gonna be the candidate.
I'm just saying.
So now,
Just go
if
that
we
Just to talk to Wallace. Just
there
saying.
interviews of all the candidates except one who lives right here, and we go to his house. We go to his house every week, and the only time he's ever come out is I knew he was going to come out for Thanksgiving, Halloween. He came out for Halloween for a photo op.
Yeah.
Yep.
For a photo op, he was out here with security and with a photographer for a photo shoot, basically. And Cammie, I don't have any kids anymore that are little. Cammie came out here with her daughter, and she got a photo with the governor. And it's a lockbox. So in case they have to get in, I suppose. But it wouldn't be that hard for them to get in. The fire department would just go right in. But there's actually a problem with this security system that I noticed that I wouldn't comment on, but
Oh no, that anything can be breached.
yeah, they have a lot of issues, so that's just how it is. But basically, a lot of people don't have any guards, don't have any security fences or any of that stuff at all. So okay, how many times have we been out here? He never comes out.
Just saying, it'd be really cool if you did.
Well, I think it's kind of ironic that he doesn't ever come out and talk. What? You have, yeah. That would be kind of. We don't go and harass people at their houses, So.
Hey Diana, would anyone hold a sign like this 100 years ago in America?
Probably
That
not.
God made us male and female?
No.
No.
You wouldn't have to, would you? Because it was consensus.
Nobody would have even. They would have said, "Well, yeah, there's."
Consensus.
Basically, what they would say is that's like up and down.
Yeah, they'd all be going,
There's
how come your husband is not
gay people. There's always been gay people.
Oh yeah. There's always been people that have some genetic variation too.
Yeah.
That was what lost the debate was the arguing that there was no such thing, and that immediately lost that debate. Cammie won that right off the bat because you know what Cammie did?
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, you just behaved normally. We had this kind of weird guy who came up.
It's kind of weird.
He
It caught my eye right away.
He
That's
walks
like,
up
I threw
and
my
then
camera
right
on.
away Cammie starts talking to him, and the first thing that came out of your mouth was what?
I don't know what the hell did I say.
Hi, what's your name?
Oh, is that what I said?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he says
I don't remember what I was saying.
he said my name is Dave.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you know what you said? You know what do you think Cammie said after she said hi? My name is Dave.
Hi, my name's Cammie.
That's right. And then I think she asked him something like, "Well, why are you here today?"
Yeah.
She's asking him questions,
Yeah.
and he's answering them. So that's what you do. You just be friendly and ask.
But he also made his life for KSTP though, and not happy about that one.
Who? Oh, we were late for it. Yeah.
Well,
Late,
I
yeah.
kept on.
Yeah.
That's why I was doing this.
Yeah. We had to
You
leave.
know,
We had to
it's like,
leave. We were supposed to have left a half an hour ago.
Go time.
Wrap up.
I was like,
That's a wrap.
come on. I was doing the watch thing.
You know what? My thing. If we start doing this, that means our viewers went to 0.
Oh, yeah.
We have 0 right now.
They're bored.
But I was like, we gotta go. It was a great
Round them up.
argument. It was a great thing, but wrong day to do this. Now, if he came now, it'd be fine. But
We'll have a schedule today.
no, we don't. We had a schedule last Saturday.
We were literally talking about it on the video prior to the guy even showing up. We were talking about how we have to go, we have to go.
And then he comes walking. I mean, it was a great, discussion, but wrong day because we.
And the guy didn't have proper clothing on.
No, he didn't. He had like shorts on. It's like.
No coat. He might have had a coat, but he didn't have any shorts
He was
on.
kind of creepy.
And then he had a notepad and he was taking notes.
Yeah, he wrote my name down.
Right? It's kind of weird. And Cammie had his number right from the second one, number 1. Right away. Cammie was beating him. He was, and that the problem was that we redirected, and then we should have let Cammie just deal with it.
He was talking to Bruce.
Not
me.
not initially. Not initially.
I just thought he was kind of creepy that threw my
But it's, when we have debates with people, it's really important to just ask them questions. Because if you can't have a debate if
Well,
you
you
don't.
gotta figure out what their deal is, what their side of the story is.
Yeah.
How can you
Yeah. And he had a basically, you know, he had all his stuff was all about traps. His traps were, well, one of his traps was God created everybody, right? How come bad things happen?
Well, it's a universal question.
Right? How could, you know, God
It's sort of like asking why.
I think things probably happen for a reason. Maybe you.
Some people are born with no arms and no legs.
Well, maybe
Why would God do that?
I don't know. I think things happen for a reason.
But why?
I don't know.
Doesn't God know everything?
God.
Why would God create somebody with no arms? Why would God create people that are blind?
I don't know.
You don't know that. You just have
No
to take
one
it on
knows this.
faith. It's not a
God is
it's
the
not
only
a
one that
scientific
knows.
thing. It's a thing on faith, and you just have to believe that challenges are put there for
A reason.
a reason.
Things happen.
And overcoming challenges is something that maybe you have to go through. You know, it's like sometimes you have to go to purgatory before you can go to heaven.
Sometimes people don't develop if they don't have a challenge. You know, if you ever seen the monarch butterflies that are in the chrysalis?
Yep.
If
and
you
break it open for them, they're crippled.
their wings don't develop.
Yeah.
You cut them out of the chrysalis and they don't do the struggle. Their wings don't inflate,
Right.
and then they just have these little things.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard the same thing happens with chickens. If you crack them out of their eggshell, they don't develop properly. Maybe if you help them on the tail end when they're basically busting themselves out, but I don't know. But
I just think
sometimes, just like
things happen
like everything.
for a reason. Just like maybe when you miscarry a baby, maybe.
That's a good one.
Well, maybe there's a reason. Maybe that
Is
baby
it-
is
doesn't-
not
doesn't-
meant to live. Maybe, or if that baby did live, it would have been something severely wrong with the baby. I don't know.
So that's a good question. Does God believe in abortion when there's miscarriages?
I don't think
This is a tough
I
question.
don't think a miscarriage is considered an abortion because it died.
It's a natural.
It's
occurrence.
natural. It
Happens.
didn't survive for a reason.
Well,
We
every
will
time
never
every
know
time
what
the
the reason
sperm
was.
doesn't meet up with an egg. Is that an abortion? No.
I mean,
Shouldn't
that's
every
not an
every
abortion.
single sperm have an egg?
I'm just saying.
How come?
I mean,
You've got to have equity.
You gotta have equity, right?
we'll never know why someone miscarries a baby. It just happens.
God needed another soul in heaven.
Yeah. It's just a mystery. We don't know all the
We'll
answers.
never
Yeah,
know
it's not,
why. But
yeah.
that's not abortion. I mean, you didn't kill the baby. It just naturally died.
Yeah.
Why? We'll never know.
Yep.
But that's
Yeah,
not
you
abortion.
might someday when you get up there.
Yep.
You'll know when you go to heaven. Why?
The Bible says that the righteous die young and no one asks why. It's to save them from the difficult days ahead. And so people probably don't want to call it mercy killing, but the Bible says there are times God will allow a person to die young because they know what's ahead for them is so going to be such horrible, horrific suffering that they'll actually take them early.
So would you argue that abortion is God taking people early?
No, because man is intervening, and
That's right. It's
man
choice. It's a bad choice.
it's
You're killing a little kid.
it's a
That's
horrific choice.
yeah.
Just horrific. And even if a baby has Down syndromes, which the doctors will say, "Oh, abort it if it's Down syndrome."
Or spina bifida. They always check your babies nowadays for Down syndrome and spina bifida.
But my daughter had spina bifida, and it didn't really affect her.
She still does?
Well, I would imagine if you took an X-ray, or at least she had it, when she was unborn.
Her spinal cord was exposed. She had or
no,
are you
it was
talking scoliosis?
This came from my
You sure it's spina bifida?
chiropractor. He said there was the way her spine was defective,
Oh.
and but somehow it wasn't all connected, and somehow it got connected.
Oh, well, that's good.
You'd have to ask my chiropractor, but
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of these Down syndrome babies end up not being Down syndrome babies because they're wrong a lot on their diagnosis, and the ones who are born, many of them are a blessing to the family.
Well,
Even
most
if
of the
they
ones
did
that I know, their family loves them. That's the whole deal. One of my neighbors has Down syndrome. He lives right just a couple blocks from me, and his family loves them without a doubt. You know,
They've been known to enrich families and
Yeah,
bring families
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Not that it's easy, but
I mean, yeah, it's sad. I think it's part of God's plan. It has to
He
be
just
part
needed
of God's
another
plan.
angel for his choir.
Yep.
It's
So
part
they
of
called
God's
him home early.
God's plan. He knows what he's doing. We may not understand it, but I think God gives us signals to.
It's a happy dog.
I think
There's
God,
another dog. Yeah.
Happy dog.
I think God gives us signals to try and tell us, so we have to figure it out.
We don't have to know all the answers
No,
because you know
we want to know all the
we
answers.
want to know,
but
but we don't have
I
to.
don't think. I think some things we'll never know, and I think that's what hurts us. But I think some things we're not meant to know because maybe we couldn't handle it.
Well, can you imagine? Can you imagine if you knew about every problem in the whole world? You knew about all the problems.
Oh wow, that's
You had a little book that told you, heck, what about if you knew all the problems on your block? Just your block. All of them. And not only did you have a list that showed you all the problems that were on your block, but you also had the ability to try to solve those problems. Can you imagine the stress that would be involved? And there's actually a movie about that where this guy,
Yeah, I've seen that. But there was a TV show like that too.
this guy spends all his time trying to fix all the problems in the city every day.
Yeah.
And it can be highly rewarding, right? But it could also be super stressful, you know. And the other thing is what happens when people start expecting you
To intervene.
to
Yeah.
do everything all the time.
Like Superman. Where's Superman?
I think you can only do what you can do.
That's right. You know, you can only do what you
But-
can do.
But initially, everything is in God's hands,
Yeah.
and sometimes God doesn't want you to
God
know.
sends you messages.
And maybe
Yep.
Just
and
don't ignore them.
You got
And
3
sometimes-
boats. The 3 boats they're showing up,
God
man.
knows
and
what you can and cannot handle, or God knows what you can handle and when you can handle it. Or He just sends you messages, and sometimes you can't figure it out until later on, and it's like, oh yeah.
you know, one of the things
Yeah.
about learning how to ice skate, my boys like to ice skate, right?
You gotta fall down.
You got to get some bruises, right? Learn
Yeah.
nice to say. You learn how to ice skate by falling down and getting some bruises.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what you do when you fall down and get some bruises?
Get back up.
Get back up. You know, that's what you do. And you don't go running around complaining that, well, that's not fair that this ice should be padded. You know, or
I always believed in like angels. I always believed that angels were like keeping you safe. I always believed in angels. I would draw like an angel on Christmas cards and like pass them out for Christmas. I always believed the angels were there to keep you safe.
where do you find angels?
Heaven.
But not just there.
The main angel is Saint Michael. Saint Michael the Archangel. There, down in La Crosse, there is a chapel of perpetual adoration where they have continuous prayer to the Lord in there. And the nuns have been doing it since, I don't know, way back early 1900s. Ever since the chapel was built, there was always somebody in there praying, and there was a fire. And the story is that St. Michael the Archangel stood at the entrance to the chapel where the nuns were praying, and he kept the fire from entering the chapel, and they prayed all the way through that fire they had down there in the church. Yes, the chapel never got burned. It burned outside, but St. Michael protected.
I just always believed in angels. They're like keeping us safe. I
You
know
ever
it
seen
sounds
one?
dorky, but
You ever
yeah,
seen one?
No.
You ever felt one?
I don't
Never know
think
what
so.
an angel's going to be like.
I don't think so. Maybe I did and I didn't realize it.
Have you seen the back of Diana's car?
No. Well, yeah, but I didn't see no angel on Diana's
see,
car.
It's not an angel.
It's Exodus 5:8.
Oh.
Little stuff happens, right? When you're stuff happens if people just don't notice it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't notice it.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to pay attention. I also think it's kind of cool to watch what's going on and see what's going on. Like this is kind of cool.
Yeah, they got the wedding dresses
Can we
over
turn
there.
that off?
Why?
I was going to ask how people are doing and stuff like that.
What do you mean how they're doing? Yeah.
Can we shut that off?